Shabbat Shalom. Well, as you can see, I'm not on the front porch and I'm not in the living room. I am in a church, children's storeroom office kind of thing at a church in Kentucky because Grindstone is deployed. We've been helping one of our own. So I am a little bit late getting this posted tonight, but let's go ahead and get started, and we will go with this week's Torah portion, which is Ra'ah. It means see. And the portion this week is going to include Deuteronomy, starting in chapter 11, verse 26, going through chapter 16, verse 17. It's going to be on page 199 of the scripture. Then we'll move on to Isaiah 54, verse 11, through chapter 55, verse 5, on page 457. And then we'll jump to the back of the book to Revelation, chapter 21, verses 9 through 27 at the end of the chapter. And that'll be starting on page 1215. So let's go ahead and get started, because I'm tired. And I'm afraid I might yawn at you, and I'm really sorry for that, but let's get the word in. Deuteronomy 11, chapter 20, or verse 26. See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing when you obey the commands of Yahweh your Elohim, which I command you today, and the curse if you do not obey the commands of Yahweh your Elohim, but turn aside from the way which I command you today, to go after other mighty ones which you have not known. And it shall be when Yahweh your Elohim has brought you into the land which you go to possess, that you shall put the blessing on Mount Gerizim, and the curse on Mount Ebal. Are they not beyond the Yarden, toward the setting sun, in the land of the Canaanites, who dwell in the desert plains opposite Gilgal, beside the terebinth tree of Morah? For you are passing over the Yarden to go in to possess the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you. And you shall possess it and dwell in it, and you shall guard to do all the laws and right rulings which I am setting before you today. These are the laws and right rulings which you guard to do in the land which Yahweh Elohim of your fathers is giving you to possess all the days that you live on the soil. Completely destroy all the places where the nations which you are dispossessing served their mighty ones, on the high mountains and on the hills and under every green tree. And you shall break down their slaughter places, and smash their pillars, and burn their asherim with fire. And you shall cut down the carved images of their mighty ones, and shall destroy their name out of that place. Do not do so to Yahweh your Elohim, but seek the place which Yahweh your Elohim chooses out of all your tribes, to put his name there for his dwelling place, and there you shall enter. And there you shall take your ascending offerings and your slaughters, and your tithes and your contributions of your hand, and your vowed offerings and your voluntary offerings, and the firstlings of your herd and of your flock. And there you shall eat before Yahweh your Elohim, and shall rejoice in all that you put your hand to, you and your household, in which Yahweh your Elohim has blessed you. Do not do as we are doing here today, each one doing whatever is right in his own eyes, because you have not yet entered the rest and the inheritance which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you. But you shall pass over the Yarden, and shall dwell in the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you to inherit, and he shall give you rest from all your enemies around about you. And you shall dwell in safety. And it shall be that unto the place which Yahweh your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell there, There you are to bring all that I command you, your ascending offerings and your slaughterings, and your tithe and your contributions, and the contributions of your hand, and all your choice offerings which you vow to Yahweh. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim, you and your sons and your daughters, and your male servants and your female servants, and the Levite who is within your gates, since he has no portion nor inheritance with you. Guard yourself that you do not offer your ascending offerings in every place that you see, except in the place which Yahweh chooses. In one of your tribes, there you are to offer your ascending offerings, and there you are to do all that I command you. Only whatever your being desires you shall slaughter and eat, according to the blessing of Yahweh your Elohim, which he has given you. Within all your gates, the unclean and the clean do eat of it, of the gazelle and of the deer alike. Only the blood you do not eat. Pour it on the earth like water. You are not allowed to eat within your gates the tithe of your grain, or of your new wine, or of the oil, or of the firstling of your herd of your flocks, or of any of your offerings which you vow, or of your voluntary offerings, or of the contribution of your hand. But eat them before Yahweh your Elohim in the place which Yahweh your Elohim chooses, you and your son and your daughter, and your male servant and your female servant, and the Levite who is within your gates. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim in all that you put your hand to. Guard yourself so that you do not forsake the Levite as long as you live in the land. When Yahweh your Elohim enlarges your borders, as he has promised you, and you say, "Let me eat meat," because you long to eat meat, you eat as much meat as your being desires. When the place where Yahweh your Elohim chooses to put his name is too far from you, then you shall slaughter from your herd and from your flock which Yahweh has given you, as I have commanded you, and you shall eat within your gates as much as your heart desires. Only as the gazelle and the deer are eaten, so you are to eat of it. The unclean and the clean alike eat of it. Only be strong not to eat the blood, for the blood is the life. Do not eat the life of the meat. Do not eat it. You pour it on the earth like water. Do not eat it, that it might be well within you and your children after you, when you do what is right in the eyes of Yahweh. Only the set-apart gifts which you have and your vowed offerings you are to take up and go to the place which Yahweh chooses. And you shall make your ascending offerings, the meat and the blood, on the slaughter place of Yahweh your Elohim. And the blood of your slaughterings is poured out on the slaughter place of Yahweh your Elohim, and you eat the meat. Guard and obey all these words which I command you, that it may be well with you and your children after you forever, when you do what is good and right in the eyes of Yahweh your Elohim. When Yahweh your Elohim does cut off from before you the nations which you go to dispossess, and you dispossess them and dwell in their land, guard yourself that you do not ensnare to follow them after they are destroyed from before you, and that you do not inquire about their mighty ones, saying, "How did these nations serve their mighty ones? And let me do so too." Do not do so to Yahweh your Elohim, for every abomination which Yahweh hates they have done to their mighty ones. For they even burned their sons and daughters in the fire to the mighty ones. All the words I am commanding you, guard to do it. When there arises among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and he shall give you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder shall come true of which he has spoken to you, saying, "Let us go after other mighty ones which you have not known, and serve them." Do not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahweh your Elohim is trying you to know whether you love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being. Walk after Yahweh your Elohim and fear him and guard his commands and obey his voice and serve him and cling to him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams is put to death because he has spoken apostasy against Yahweh your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim and ransomed you from the house of bondage to make you stray from the way in which Yahweh your Elohim commanded you to walk. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst. When your brother, the son of your mother, or your son, or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend, who is as your own being, entices you secretly, saying, "Let us go and serve other mighty ones, which you have not known, neither you nor your fathers, of the mighty ones of the people which are all around you, near to you, or far off from you, from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. Do not agree with him or listen to him, nor shall your eye pardon him, nor spare him, or conceal him. But you shall certainly kill him. Your hand is first against him to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people. And you shall stone him with stones until he dies, because he sought to entice you away from Yahweh your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, from the house of bondage. And let all Israel hear and fear, and not again do as such evil matters as this is your midst. When you hear someone in one of your cities, which Yahweh your Elohim gives you to dwell in, saying, "Some men, sons of Belial, have gone out of your midst and led the inhabitants of their city astray, saying, 'Let us go and serve other mighty ones whom you have not known.' Then you shall inquire, search out, and ask diligently, and see if the matter is true and established, that this abomination was done in your midst. And you shall certainly strike the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, putting it under the band, and all that is in it, and its livestock, with the edge of the sword, and gather all its plunder into the middle of the street, and completely burn with fire the city and all its plunder before Yahweh your Elohim. And it shall be a heap forever, never to be built again. And none of that which is put under the ban is to cling to your hand, so that Yahweh turns from the fierceness of his displeasure, and shall show you compassion, love you, and increase you, as he swore to your fathers. When you obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, to guard all his commands which I command you today, to do what is right in the eyes of Yahweh your Elohim. You are the children of Yahweh your Elohim. Do not cut yourselves, nor shave the front of your head for the dead, for you are a set-apart people to Yahweh your Elohim. And Yahweh has chosen you to be a people for himself, a treasured possession above all the peoples who are in the face of the earth. Do not eat whatever is abominable. These are the living creatures which you do eat: ox, sheep, and goat, deer, and gazelle, and roebuck, and wild goat, and mountain goat, and antelope, and mountain sheep, and every beast that has a split hoof divided in two, chewing the cud among the beasts you do eat. But of those chewing the cud, or those having a split hoof completely divided, you do not eat. Such as these, the camel and the hare, and the rabbit, for they chew the cud, but they do not have a split hoof. They are unclean for you. And the pig is unclean for you, because it has a split hoof, but it does not chew the cud. You do not eat their flesh or touch their dead carcasses. These you do eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales you do eat. And whatever does not have fins and scales you do not eat, for it is unclean for you. Any clean bird you do eat, but these you do not eat: the eagle, the vulture, and the black vulture, the red kite, and the falcon, the buzzard after their kinds. Excuse me. And every raven of its kind, and the ostrich and the nighthawk, and the seagull and the hawk after their kinds, the little owl and the great owl, and the white owl and the pelican, and the carrion vulture and the fisher owl, and the stork and the heron after its kind, and the hoopoe and the bat, and every creeping insect that flies is unclean for you. They are not eaten. Any clean bird you do eat. Do not eat whatever dies of itself. Give it to the sojourner who is within your gates to eat it, or sell it to a foreigner, for you are a set-apart people to Yahweh your Elohim. Do not cook a young goat, in its mother's milk. You shall tithe without fail all your yield of your grain that the field brings forth year by year. And you shall eat before Yahweh your Elohim in the place where he chooses to make his name dwell, the tithe of your grain and your new wine and your new oil, and of the firstlings of your flock and your sheep, so that you learn to fear Yahweh your Elohim always. But when the way is too long for you, so that you are not able to bring the tithe, or when the place where Yahweh your Elohim chooses to put his name is too far from you, when Yahweh your Elohim is blessing you, then you shall give it in silver, and shall take the silver in your hand and go to the place which Yahweh your Elohim chooses, and you shall use the silver for whatever your being desires, for cattle or sheep, for wine or strong drink, for whatever your being desires. And you shall eat there before Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall rejoice, and your household. And do not forsake the Levite who is within your gate, for he has no part nor inheritance with you. At the end of every year, your being brings out all the tithe of your increase of that year, and store it up within your gates. And the Levite, because he has no portion nor inheritance with you, and the sojourner and the fatherless and the widow who are within your gates, shall come and eat and be satisfied, so that Yahweh your Elohim does bless you in all the work of your hand which you do. At the end of every 7 years you make a release of debts, and this is the word of the release. Every creditor is to release what he has loaned to his neighbor. He does not require it of his neighbor or his brother, because it is called the release of Yahweh. Of a foreigner you could require it, but your hand is to release whatever is owed by your brother. Only there should be no poor among you, for Yahweh does greatly bless you in the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you to possess as an inheritance. Only if you diligently obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim to guard to do all these commands which I am commanding you today. For Yahweh your Elohim shall bless you as he promised you. And you shall lend to many nations, and you shall not borrow, and you shall rule over many nations, but they do not rule over you. When there is a poor man with you, one of your brothers, within any of the gates of your land, which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you, do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from your poor brother. For you shall certainly open your hand to him, and certainly lend him enough for his need, whatever he needs. Be on guard lest there be a thought of Belial in your heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is near, and your eye is evil against your poor brother, and you give him not. And he shall cry out to Yahweh against you, and it shall be a sin to you. You shall certainly give to him, and your heart should not be grieved when you give to him, because for this reason Yahweh your Elohim does bless you in all your works and in all to which you put your hand, because the poor one does not cease from the land. Therefore I am commanding you, saying, you shall certainly open your hand to your brother, to your poor, to your needy ones in your land. When your brother is sold to you, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, and shall serve you 6 years, let him go free from you in the 7th year. And when you send him away free from you, let him not go away empty-handed. You shall richly supply him from your flock, and from your threshing floor, and from your winepress, that which Yahweh has blessed you with. Give to him. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mitzrayim, and Yahweh your Elohim ransomed you. Therefore, I am commanding you this word today. And it shall be when he says to you, I do not go away from you, because he loves you and your house, because it is good for him with you. Then you shall take an awl and thrust it through his ear to the door, and he shall be your servant forever. Do the same to your female servant. Let it not be hard in your eyes when you send him away free from you, for he has been worth a double hired servant in serving you 6 years. And Yahweh your Elohim shall bless you in all that you do. Set apart to Yahweh your Elohim all the firstborn males that come from your herd and your flock. Do not work with the firstborn of your herd, nor shear the firstborn of your flock. You and your household are to eat it before Yahweh your Elohim, year by year, in the place which Yahweh chooses. But when there is any defect in it, lame or blind, or has an evil defect, do not slaughter it to Yahweh your Elohim. Eat it within your gates, the unclean and the clean alike, as the gazelle and as the deer. Only do not eat the blood. Pour it on the ground like water. Guard the new moon of Abib and perform the Pesach to Yahweh your Elohim. For in the new moon of Abib, Yahweh your Elohim brought you out of the Mitzrayim by night. And you shall slaughter the Pesach to Yahweh your Elohim from the flocks and from the herd, in the place where Yahweh chooses to put his name. Eat no leavened bread with it. For 7 days you eat unleavened bread with it, bread of affliction, because you came out of the land of Mitzrayim in haste, so that you remember the day in which you came out of the land of Mitzrayim all the days of your life. And no leaven should be seen with you in all your borders for 7 days. Neither should any of the meat which you slaughter in the evening on the first day stay all night until morning. You are not allowed to slaughter the Pesach within any of your gates which Yahweh your Elohim gives you, but at the place where Yahweh your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell. There you slaughter the Pesach to the evening, or in the evening, at the going down of the sun, at the appointed time you came out of Mitzrayim. And you shall roast and eat it in the place which Yahweh your Elohim chooses. And in the morning you shall turn and go to your tents. 6 days you eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day there is a closing festival to Yahweh your Elohim. You do no work. Count 7 weeks for yourself. Begin to count 7 weeks from the time you begin to put the sickle to the grain, and you shall perform the festival of Shavuot and Yahweh your Elohim, according to the voluntary offerings from your hand, which you give to Yahweh your Elohim, which you give as Yahweh your Elohim blesses you. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim, you and your son and your daughter, and your male servant and your female servant, and the Levite who is within your gate, and the sojourner and the fatherless, and the widow who are in your midst, at the place where Yahweh your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell. And you shall remember that you were a slave in Mitzrayim, and you shall guard and do these laws. Perform the festival of Sukkot for 7 days after the ingathering from your threshing floors and from your winepress. And you shall rejoice in your festival, you and your son and your daughter, and your male servant and your female servant, and the Levite and the sojourner and the fatherless, the widow who are within your gates. For 7 days you shall celebrate to Yahweh your Elohim in the place which Yahweh chooses, because Yahweh your Elohim does bless you in all your increase and in all the work of your hands. And you shall be only rejoicing. 3 times a year all your males appear before Yahweh your Elohim in the place which he chooses, at the festival of Matzot, at the festival of Shavuot, and at the festival of Sukkot. And none should appear before Yahweh empty-handed, but each one with the gift of his hand, according to the blessing of Yahweh your Elohim, which he has given you. Now let's move on to Isaiah. We're going to go Isaiah 54, starting in verse 11, which is on page 457 in the scriptures. Turn this a little bit. Okay, verse 11. O you afflicted one, tossed with storm and not comforted. See, I am setting your stones in antimony, and shall lay your foundations with sapphires, and shall make your battlements of rubies and your gates of crystal, and all your walls of precious stones, and all your children taught by Yahweh, and the peace of your children great. In righteousness you shall be established, far from oppression, for you shall not fear, and far from ruin, for it does not come near you. See, they shall indeed assemble, but not because of me. Whoever shall assemble against you falls for your sake. See, I myself have created the blacksmith, who blows the coals in the fire, who brings forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall prove wrong. This is the inheritance of the servant of Yahweh, and their righteousness from me, declares Yahweh. O everyone who thirsts, come to the waters, and you who have no silver, come, buy and eat. Come, buy wine and milk without silver and without price. Why do you weigh out silver for what is not bread, and your labor for what does not satisfy? Listen to me, and eat what is good, and let your being delight itself in fatness. Incline your ear and come to me. Hear, so that your being lives, and let me make an everlasting covenant with you, the trustworthy, loving commitments of David. See, I have given him as a witness to the people, a leader and a commander for the people. See, a nation you do not know, you shall call, and a nation who does not know you runs to you because of Yahweh, your Elohim, and the set apart one of Israel, for he has adorned you. And for the Brit Hadashah portion this week, we are going to turn to Revelation, page 1215. Let's see if I can get back here. And here it is, chapter 21, verses 9 through 27, which is the end of the chapter. Starting in 9. And one of the 7 messengers who held the 7 bowls filled with the 7 last plagues came to me and spoke with me, saying, Come, I shall show you the bride, the Lamb's wife. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain and showed me the great city, the set apart Yerushalayim, descending out of the heaven from Elohim, having the esteem of Elohim, and her light was like the most precious stone, like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and having a great and high wall, having 12 gates, and at the gates 12 messengers, the names written on them, which are those of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. 3 gates on the east, 3 gates on the north, 3 gates on the south, and 3 gates on the west. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the names of the 12 emissaries of the Lamb. And he who spoke with me had a golden measuring rod to measure the city and its gates and its wall. And the city lies 4-cornered, and its length is as great as its breadth. And he measured the city with the rod, 12,000 standa. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. And he measured its wall, 144 forearms, according to the measure of a man, that is, of a messenger. And the structure of its wall was jasper. And the city was clean gold, like clear glass, and the foundations of the wall of the city were adorned with all kinds of precious stones. The first foundation, jasper. The second, sapphire. The third, agate. The fourth, emerald. The fifth, sardonyx. The sixth, ruby. The 7th, crystallite. And the 8th, beryl. The 9th, topaz. And the 10th, chrysoprase. The 11th, jacinth. And the 12th, amethyst. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Each one of the gates was a single pearl, and the street of the city was clean gold, like transparent glass. And I saw no dwelling place in it, for Yahweh El Shaddai is its dwelling place, and the Lamb. And the city had no need for the sun, nor of the moon to shine in it, for the esteem of Elohim lightened it, and the Lamb is its lamp. And the nations of those who are saved shall walk in its light. And the sovereigns of the earth bring their esteem into it, and its gates shall not be shut at all by day, for night shall not be there. And they shall bring the esteem of the appreciation of the nations into it. And there shall be no means, and there shall by no means enter it whatever is unclean, neither anyone doing abominations or falsehoods, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. With that, pardon me, is the portion for this week. Re'eh. From the road, I want to thank you for joining me today as we read the Torah portions, as we read Yah's word to us. Let it be more than just a word. Let it sink into your heart. Let it become who you are. Let it refine you, help you grow. Let it become who you are. Let God's light shine through you because of His word. Remember to always walk with Yah. Have a blessed week. Shalom.